Hi everybody, this is Andy with Intelligent Video Solutions, and in this video I'm going to be going over all the different rights a user group may be given when creating a recording within VALT. So to start, we're going to go on over to Settings, up to Users and Groups, select to edit the group in which you want to modify the rights for, and scroll down to Rights. Now, you don't see Recording here. Recording is underneath Observe. If we open up Observe, we'll then find Recording, which can be opened up a little bit further. So here are the different rights that a user group may have when creating a recording. For each one of these, I'm going to go over the checkbox that you see, and then flip over to the user side to show you what the end user would experience. So first, starting a recording. This one's kind of self-explanatory. Can they actually create a recording? If they have this checkbox checked, the end user can select a room they have access to, and then they'll have access to this Make a Recording button for all the different streams that are in this room with you. If they don't have that checked, they won't see this button. Going back to our settings, next is Prepare. Can they set up the recording before they actually hit start? So this is often used for organizations where the person who's going to be doing the interview or the therapy session, whatever it might be, is also filling in the information beforehand. Oftentimes this is paired with the stop-start button in the room. So they set up all the information before, so you know who the author is, and then when the session starts, they just hit start or stop. What this looks like for the end user is this button right next to record. So it does everything but actually start the recording. If I click this, it'll ask for all the information that you require. It's the name of the session, what skill are we practicing, any notes or files. And then when I hit prepare, it kind of puts it into this paused state. So then I can either start it from within the software itself or from like a start-stop button or something else that actually begins that recording from the room. Next, you'll find the evaluation checkbox, and this one actually opens up a little bit further. Can the person during a recording, not after during the review, but during the recording, fill out the evaluation template, or kind of quiz score or whatever it might be for the person who's doing the session? And can they view the score? So from the end user perspective, if I begin my recording and click on recording options, you'll find a button down here for all the different evaluation templates assigned to this user group. So if this is some sort of simulation, they just didn't wash their hands. Now that's not an appropriate room right here, but I'm going to fill it out anyways. And as I go through this, you'll also see at the bottom a score being tallied. So those are the two permissions that you can have. Actually filling out the evaluation, and then the scores of each question and the total score for the person doing the simulation. Next, you'll find the sharing checkbox. This isn't the sharing link that you'll actually find down here. It's sharing through the application itself. So this button is going to be found right next to the evaluation template. If I go back to my end user screen, you'll find a share button right down here. Again, through the recording options, a share button, and these are different groups of users that we have within my application, or if I open any of these up, you'll find the individual users assigned to that group as well. So I can share this out to any of them. Next, we'll find change author. So whoever started this recording is going to be the author, but it might not be the person we actually want assigned to it. So this user that we have here does have the permission to change the author. So if I go into my application, this button right here is going to show me all the different options for authors. So Andy2 is the user I'm logged in as. I can make a modification and say, okay, you know what, the author of this one, the owner of this recording really is Andy. And then I can save that. Next, we have retention. So there's going to be a group setting already for how long videos are retained within your application, but for each individual video, you might be able to make changes to that. For instance, maybe you want to have this training recording that people can use to learn from, and you want that saved indefinitely or for twice as long as usual, or maybe you want a certain video removed sooner than usual. So the retention settings can actually be found by this garbage can icon. When do you want to get rid of this? Do I want it by default? So that's going to be the default is whatever we already have in our system. Keep it for a certain amount of time, keep it until a certain date, or keep it forever. Next, you'll find stop all authors and stop confirmation. And these two we're going to knock out in one. Stop all authors is if someone's doing a recording and you need to record that room, or you just need to stop that recording. If you're not the author of it, you can't stop that recording unless you have this permission. So it's going to be difficult for me to actually show how this one works, but if I had one user doing a recording and somebody else needed to stop that recording, this checkbox would allow that. Now, stop confirmation is just going to be a confirmation, are you sure you want to stop this? And that one we can take a look at. So here we have a recording going. It's been going for about 7 minutes. If I wasn't the actual author of this, I usually wouldn't be able to stop that person's recording, but my stop all authors recording option will allow me to do it. And then the stop confirmation is this pop-up right here. Are you sure you want to stop the recording in therapy room 1? If you don't have that checkbox checked, it's just going to stop it. But the confirmation is going to double check. You sure you want to stop this? And I'm going to click yes, stop it. Next is pause. When a recording is going on, do we want to actually be able to pause that recording? So we'll start a recording. And then you'll find the pause button right here. Without that checkbox checked, you won't be able to pause it. Next, we have comments. During a recording, can you leave comments on the actual recording itself? Again, this is different than during review. During review and during observation are two different role permissions within the application. During the actual recording, can we leave comments? Over here on the right-hand side, you'll find the comments button. So while this is actually going on, I want to leave a comment, I can type it. You can also open up the comments template. If there's a certain type of comment you want to be able to leave, that'll leave a comment as well. You see my 2 comments that have been left. And my quick markers. So if something happens and I have quick markers set up, we can add that one in. So this person's left comments 3 different ways because they have that checkbox checked. And lastly, we have the options checkbox. The options are basically what we've been going through in the pre-recording. So evaluation, sharing, changing the author. But if I uncheck this, then during the recording, I won't have those choices anymore. Going back to my end user, if I start a recording, before I hit the record button, I see all my options. And once the recording begins, I can get back to my options through this button here. But if I don't have that checked, I won't be able to access this anymore. So as an administrator, if you want your users to be able to prep their recording and then begin it, but not make any changes, you would uncheck that box. And that's all the different choices you have for rights within the recording section underneath Observe.